One of the funniest things about transitioning, I feel like, for me has been learning how to be slutty as a man, because to be slutty as a man is just how many buttons do you undo?
Yeah,
And I feel like it depends on
pretty
how much
much.
chest hair you have, or depending on your preference, lack of chest hair.
Guess it's like a different strain of
But like,
sluttiness.
yeah, because like this is I'm going to work.
I don't know why that looks wrong to me. I think it's because you never button your shirts up that far.
I feel like I'm being choked. Welcome back to Archivist Sessions, episode 2. Last week we covered the first 3 episodes of the Mighty Nein Animated Series, or the Overture, if you will, and today we're going to be looking at episode 4, titled The Mighty Nein.
Big spoiler warning for not only the animated shows, we're going to be talking about that pretty in depth, but also campaign 2 of Critical Role. We're going to be making comparisons and sort of talking about stuff that happens in the campaign as well. So if you don't want to know anything about the campaign, this is your official warning to maybe click away. Unless you don't care, then keep watching.
And I mean, let's just get straight into it. Do you have any
Yeah.
top notes from the episode? Anything you
Oh,
loved? Anything
I
that
feel
really
like,
stood out? I think for me it was the beacon scenes were really fun. Like seeing the Dunamantic magic. And how it like affected the room and stuff and made Trent look extra super duper evil.
creepy,
Yeah.
scary. BBEG, he's
Big
really
time.
living up to that name.
Oh, Mark Strong. It's Mark Strong, right? He's putting in
Yeah,
an insane performance every single time he's on screen. I'm like, ugh, ugh,
yeah, he's real
you're
creepy
gross,
looking.
bro.
I think for me, I mean, it's hard because every single episode always looks amazing. The animation is top tier. Like, you can tell, like, so much love and passion has gone into, like, every single frame of this show. So it's really hard to kind of pinpoint things specifically. I think for me, this episode, it was just really fun to see the team, like, sort of like come together, but they're also still sort of a little bit unsure of each other, and we start to see those dynamics that we know and love from the campaign like starting to form
Yeah.
and bubble away, and it just felt so good.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts of the episode was all of the teeny tiny little hints towards the relationship dynamics that are going to develop over the course of the series. Like we got the Empire twins, the Bros, with a J, Brjeaus, the Bros.
Yep.
We got like Bo and Not, Ford and Not. Like, it was such a great episode that like brought them all together. I'm very
just
happy with
I
it, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have any kind of like big dislikes or anything like that. It just felt so good.
Mm.
The other note I had for sort of things I really liked was the whole like devil toad combat. That was really fun, and
Yeah.
again, like seeing those dynamics there as well. Like at this wheel, you know what? I'm not gonna go too in depth yet
We are
because
gonna
we'll get to it. So
we're getting into it. We'll probably just start like moving through the episode in order, kind of, because we take notes as we watch or rewatch,
yeah,
as you
I
will.
guess before, is there any kind of like dislikes or anything you're sort of feeling unsure about that you want to touch on before we sort of get into it?
Yeah, I think there was only like really one thing in this episode that caught my attention as sort of like I'm not quite sure about how they're adapting that part, and it's particularly to do with Essek. Um, he feels like I think I knew he would be a lot softer in the series. He was not going to be as like villainous seeming when you first run into him because we're getting so much more story for him. But it does kind of feel there were parts of this episode that felt a little bit out of character for him. But like I
Mm.
also think I could sort of extrapolate some reasons for that behavior in him. So I'm like
Yeah.
I'm kind of just waiting to see where it goes.
Yeah. We actually had the same note about Essek in particular. Like, again, we could get into it a little more, but
Let's just jump in.
yeah, I just had some questions, so
We're gonna
let's
get
jump in.
we're gonna get ahead
We're
of
gonna do the
ourselves if we're
same
not
thing
careful.
otherwise and
Yeah,
just bounce around.
I'm
All
not
right.
editing another 3 hour episode. I
Yeah.
simply shan't.
Cold open. So our cold open this time is the interrogation scene, which they actually released that clip quite early on. I think it was one of the
Yes.
first clips we saw of the
Hmm.
animated show, and we have the whole sensual seven moment, which is really fun.
It displays their
Yeah.
character very, very well. I think again, it gives you a good insight into, uh, you know, Bo's dislike of authority,
Oh
Molly
yeah.
being sarcastic and just like not really giving a crap, Caleb just being like, "Why do I have to be here? This is a waste of my time. I'm so over
Yeah.
it," you know,
Yeah.
and not
Not
being
just
drunk,
drunk as hell.
so wasted.
And and then Jester just seeing the good and the fun in the situation, like just amazing.
Yeah.
Again,
Oh,
a really good snapshot of all the dynamics there.
one thing I really particularly liked about that scene was the title card, actually, because the title card says the Sensual Seven instead of the Mighty
Yeah.
Nine. And later in the episode, you do still get a Mighty Nine title card, but it happens when they
Yeah.
actually adopt the name, which I think is really cute. I really like that.
So clever. I thought that was really clever, and I had a little chuckle at that one. So that was
Yeah.
good.
And
The editing
I've
across
got
the
a
show is great.
yeah, I got a couple of notes about Jester here. Like Jester, her vibe in the jail cell was really funny because like it shows you she really thinks she's in a book, like she's in a movie, she's in an adventure. She's like, it's not that she doesn't think it's real life. Like I don't think she's that disconnected from reality, but she just does
Yeah.
not have any grasp on like how wide the world is because of how sheltered she's been. And so in this jail cell where, you know, things should be really bleak, she's like, this is so cool because it's brand new and I read about this in books.
I think she even said it's like a true crime novel
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, straight up. And like she's just got so many good one-liners. Like Jester is the perfect character for like an absolutely banging one-liner that just takes you out immediately. Like, Ford, do you want to be my bitch? It's like it's
That line is
so
just that, and they even put that line in the trailer, like with no context, which was great. And
it's
I
so
know Laura
good.
Bailey was just having the time of her fucking life in that booth, just
I
living her best life.
I feel like Jester is like as much as it probably sucks for Laura like to have to deal with this, I feel like Jester's going to be one of those characters for her that overshadows all of her other characters a little bit because she's just so beloved. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's also a compliment because you made a character that everybody is fucking obsessed with.
So endearing. And fun fact, apparently Jester has the most TikTok fan edits out of any Critical Role character.
I was really
According to some interview I watched.
if I had to place a bet on it, you know where it would go.
Oh yeah.
The other tiefling.
I was
We
also
all know it
surprised.
would be the other tiefling.
Yeah. But no, Jester
Followed
is a
closely by
beloved
Caleb,
fan favorite.
I would think.
Yeah.
But interesting.
No,
I think
Jester's right up there.
honestly though, it just kind of like it just shows you that it's a well crafted show because in the same way that all the characters are going to fall in love with Jester, we all fall in love with Jester just a little bit because she's
You
just
can't
so
not.
charming and so fun loving and full of life that I honestly that's why I think there is a part of me that really loves Widow Jest as a ship. Like I never shipped it. Like
I see the vision.
I never saw it like working out. I just don't think they are like compatible people, but I loved it because it's just so tragic. Like Caleb realizing he was like he had feel like, was a little bit in love with her and just immediately resigning himself to just never doing anything about it because he knows it's not going to happen. I'm like, oh.
It's so tragically angsty and a little beautiful, and I
And you're like,
love
of course,
that stuff.
I mean, again, everybody falls in love with Jester, but of course he did. Like, he's in such a terribly dark place that you come across a wrecking ball of fun like Jester, you're gonna fall a little bit
Chaos
in love with
incarnate.
her. Yeah, straight up.
I mean, who wouldn't? Like, she's just so endearing, and she just always sees the good in everyone as well, which is just such a great quality, especially for a character. Like, it's just
and I
so
also
fun.
loved, like in the jail cell as well, all of the dynamics starting to pick up. Like that's really where we started to see, you know, Ford and not bickering a little bit. Like, what are you gonna do? Hit me with your
The
noodle
most
arms?
legendary beef ever.
I truly
Just
can't
incredible.
wait like, I don't know about you, but I can't wait until we get far enough into the series and they get to know each other enough where that dynamic starts to shift a little and Ford starts to believe that they're joking, but not isn't really joking. Because it does get to that point where like Not is still kind of like, I'm not sure about this guy, but Ford thinks they're friends and that they're just, bickering
Just
for fun.
bickering. Yeah.
And Not's still just like, all right.
She don't like that guy. She loves that guy, but she don't love that guy. She
Yeah,
like
that
that
is.
guy.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
that's very Not. She loves
hmm
loves Ford, but I doesn't know if she
She don't
likes
like
him.
him. Yeah. Which is just its perfect like family dynamic. It's just fun. It's just good fun. But like at the end of the day they would probably die for each other, you know?
Oh, straight up, like it's like it's siblings. I think like Ford and Not
Yeah.
give off like siblings in a huge way, and I think it's very relatable. Of like, I'll protect you till my dying breath, but I'm going to insult you the entire time because you're
Yeah.
annoying.
You need to watch the wedding one shot because there's some funny
Mm,
moments between them.
I should. We're spending way too long on this first scene, but I will
We are.
say.
We are still on the cold open. Okay,
But
moving on.
the last one I want to say about this scene is that I like that they showed Bo being the level head. And there's
Yes, I
something
had
I'll
a note
say
about
about
that
that.
too.
Oh, there's something I'll say about that later. Like one of my like overall, just like what I'm enjoying about the whole series so far. I'm gonna save that for the end. But
Yeah.
I liked that they're showing Bo has capabilities. She has
hmm
skill. She's not a complete and utter buffoon. Just not something around
Yeah.
not knowing what. Like she does have a lot of skill already, even if she is
Yeah.
like level 2 or whatever technically. And
Yeah.
I also enjoyed
She's.
Ford figuring his powers out a little bit, you
Oh.
know?
Oh my god! The moment where he does the epic, like heroic Eldritch Blast, and then it flops so
That's in the
hard.
jailbreak, yeah. That's good.
Oh
But I even just like summoning the Falchion for the first, like we haven't even seen him do that yet. And
no.
also again a bit later in the episode during the jailbreak, he does disguise self,
Yeah.
mask of many
Yeah.
faces, which is really really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm liking seeing all that.
Yeah. And I feel like in that scene as well, this kind of like push and pull sort of between Ford, Caleb, and Bo as well, and that's something we've talked about a bit about that kind of like who is the leader,
Yeah,
sort of
who's the
like there's a
leader?
bit of tension bubbling away there between them, and
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of grows throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it's kind of curious because like I love to think about it in terms of the campaign a little bit as well, like in a really
Mm.
meta sense. The reason that Ford ended up talking a lot was because he was the one of the only high charisma characters. He's a warlock. So like there comes a point in time where the high charisma character, as someone who has played a bard, there comes a point in time where the high charisma character has to be the one speaking because they're going to have to make a roll.
Uh
And if you
huh.
want it to go well, that
You
person
need
probably needs
that
to be in
charisma.
charge of it. I mean, it is really funny when you put a low charisma character in charge of those roles too. There are moments for it, but that kind of comes to mind when I'm watching, and I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how that changes in the series because they're not tied to those sorts of mechanics anymore.
No, they can kind of like do whatever they want,
Yeah.
which is fun. So
I only have 2 dot points for the next scene, which is the first beacon scene with Trent and Essek.
yeah.
And one is just they're doing a crazy good job of displaying how inherently evil Trent is. Because he just has
Evil.
people available on hand to experiment on.
Yeah.
What is wrong
It,
with you?
he is just so hungry for
Power.
power and stuff. What I
Yeah.
thought was kind of interesting about this scene is, again, kind of leaning into the Trent just being evil. Like Essek is trying to explain to him like how the consecution works and sort of what that entails, and he just doesn't care. He's like, yeah, okay, cool, but like, what else can this thing do? I know it can do more than just resurrect people.
Yeah. All
So I thought that was kind of fun as well.
he only listened to Essek through that for like what he could manipulate him with, and he gets manipulated later in the
Oh
episode, like
yeah,
with it.
real
And
bad.
I have like I'll delve into it a little bit more when we get to the next part, but
Mm.
the dot point I have about Essek here is that I think it was tweets that you showed me, right, of someone like it was actually an Essek fan bashing
Yes.
bashing show Essek a little bit.
Yeah.
because they felt that all of his character motivation was gone. And
Hmm.
I do agree to a certain degree. However, in this scene specifically, the very first one with Trent and the like when they do the very first experiment, there's no like there's not a lot of manipulation going on from Trent yet. They're
No.
in the
No.
just in that first scene. But I saw people talking about Essek having lost his spice because he suddenly cares about like this guy being experimented on. My thought there is, I think that that scene by itself still aligns with his character in the campaign because you consider the fact that yes, he may have been indirectly responsible for the deaths of a lot of people by what he did in the campaign by committing treason essentially. Yes, yes he was and probably accepted the fact that he would be the indirect cause of these deaths. There is a huge difference between being the indirect cause of death and the direct cause of death.
Yeah, and
He
also
was
like
in the
physically
room.
seeing it happen
Yeah, he was in the
is
room. He
so
was
different.
physically taking part in the experiment that killed that guy. And if that's the first time that's happened to him, which theoretically it is, like
Yeah.
the most he's ever seen is like, the ritual for the beacon, which is not him taking part, right? It would make sense that he would be affected by that.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
person would be affected by seeing that for the first time.
Unless you're Trent.
Unless, well, I
I
mean,
feel
he's
like
not seeing it for the first time because he's fucking psychotic.
I feel like he, even if he was, I feel like
Oh yeah,
he's born
he
psychotic.
came out of the womb and was like, "I want to kill people,"
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
straight up. But yeah, like he was hands on in that experiment, so I think it actually
Yeah.
does make sense for him to be like, "Oh, I don't know about this." Like, it was kind of all theoretical before now, because
Yeah.
all I did was hand this beacon over. I'm not in a really specific direct way killing people by doing so. Because
But it's like one
technically,
of those things, like if you're not seeing the carnage you're causing, it's very easy to just go, it's fine, it's
wash your hands of
whatever.
it. And you also
Yeah.
like I have to think that like especially if you are someone like Essek in a position where you are desperate to try and find a solution to a problem in this way, because he is
Yeah.
just trying to, in the show at the very least, his main motivation is seeking a cure for his mother. You also like consider the fact that like it's not just indirect cause of death. The people in this beacon are already technically dead, right?
That's true.
Their
Yeah.
souls have been intercepted from their path to the afterlife to be
Yeah.
stored in the beacon until reborn, which, like, I think a lot of, science minded people would probably see as unnatural. So,
Yeah.
like,
And I feel like he's kind of alluded to that as
yeah,
well, where he doesn't
I
really
could
buy
see
into
him.
the.
I could see him convincing himself that, like, he is actually in a way saving those souls
Yeah.
by, like,
Yeah, for sure.
trying to understand the beacon. So I think like it does actually make sense for him to be affected by seeing that kind of death, but not just firsthand, but being involved in the guy's death. That does make
Yeah.
sense. But there is a part later in one of his other
Which
scenes that I'm
we'll
like,
get to soon. Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. And
The
then
only note I
next
have
we
for the
have
jailbreak is the weak as fuck Eldritch Blast and Jessa doing the rest is so good.
it's so funny, and it just, again, I'm gonna just always be praising Jester, but it's still such a beautiful, sweet moment between them because she goes, "It's okay, Ford. Like, I'm just gonna help a little bit," and
Yeah.
does all of it, but like she never makes him feel bad for it. It's just
Jester has another moment, literally almost the very next scene in the circus where she's trying to cheer Nod up. Like,
yeah,
Chester is just such a good character because again, she's fun and funny, right? That is like one of her main draws, but she just sees the good in everything.
yeah.
Regardless of
It's
who or what, she will find the good part. And that's just like that's a beautiful perspective to have.
absolutely, especially in this world because it's so dark. Like it's so dark, it's so violent, and then you get these beautiful, just sweet moments. And but it doesn't feel like cheap or anything like that either. Like it feels very
It's so
genuine,
inherent
which
to her
is
character.
yeah,
She's so loving
yeah,
of not just people but life.
yeah.
And I also like
love that.
should probably like insert the clip right here of our reaction to it of me going, like the moment that Ford's charging up for that Eldritch Blast, I don't know if my face was showing it, but I remember going, Eldritch Blast is a cantrip. That's a stone wall, and I don't know how far this is gonna go.
Back up.
You're going to Eldritch Blast through the wall.
Hey.
I was gonna say Eldritch Blast is a fucking cantrip, dude. It's a cantrip, dude.
Oh my god.
And the fact that it really went nowhere pleased me to no end. I was so happy with
So
that because
good.
it's like, especially at the level they would be, like a level 1 or 2, it's like a
Yeah.
D4 of damage.
Yeah, that's not doing anything.
You're not getting
And-
out of that stone wall with a D4 of damage, bro.
No way. And I think it's also just really fun in these early stages, just to see them kind of fail and sort of not do well
Find
and
their
just
rhythm.
kind of make mistakes. And I think it's just so fun to watch, and because we're gonna get to see that growth as well. Like, so yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they're not kind of shying away from the like they're still working it out. They're not the best at what they're doing, but like the point is they're giving it a go. They're
Yeah.
trying, and that's what kind of counts in the end.
Yeah, I'll talk about it a bit at the end, but like I actually do like almost all. I think for the party, yeah, all of what they've done, all of what they've
Yeah.
changed with the party so far, I've actually really enjoyed. Like I've really
Yeah.
liked the way they've not like completely changed, but they've just like slightly adjusted the course of a lot of their motivation and a lot of their like character sort of vibe. Like Molly feels a lot less confrontational, and he's a lot more like open.
Yes.
And I
I noticed that.
honestly, that makes me like him so much more, because in the campaign, huge spoiler warning, in the campaign, we don't see enough of his growth before he's gone.
No.
So
And, yeah.
you only see like the really asshole version of him, and you're like, "Ugh, this fucking
With like a
guy."
few good moments kind of sprinkled in there, but like
He's
ultimately
fun,
it's
but
just...
you're just like butting heads with everyone, and you're kind of getting on my nerves a little. But
Yeah.
he's so much more, at least for me personally, he's so much more likable in the show. I
Yeah,
can
I've
see his
seen-
draw and his allure a lot more, because they're playing, I think, a bit more into his mystery. Whereas in the
Yes.
campaign, Taliesin was desperately trying to hide the mystery because he was like, don't ask about the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're like, ooh,
don't wanna talk
I'm
about
more intrigued.
Yeah. And I've seen actually quite a few people say, like in the online spaces, that they're really liking Show Molly a lot, which is awesome. But again, spoiler warning, it's going
Sad.
to be devastating when that inevitably happens.
But
like,
Can
I'm
I
not
say,
ready.
can I say that I
Yeah.
want to be devastated, because that means
Yes.
it's a good fucking story.
Uh-huh.
If it hits you that hard, then it's a fucking masterpiece, frankly.
Agreed. I want to consume a story that's going to make me cry and like...
I want to be just
feel-
devastate
I
me.
want to feel
Ruin my
something,
life.
man.
Ruin my life, please. Like,
I
capitalism
know
already
this show's
has.
gonna do that.
Like, just do
Fair.
it again. It's fine.
Yeah. And I've heard from some people who've watched the whole season. They're like, bring tissues, and I have tissues prepared for
Can't
every
wait.
episode. Yeah.
The next
love to
scene
cry.
is Trent and Essek again.
Thoughts?
More than one of my dot point. Okay, I'm just going to read 2 of my dot points for you
Yeah.
verbatim. Just know that they're all in all caps. Essek, shut up, be quiet, shut the fuck up, stop telling him shit. Don't teach him how to open the beacon, fuck ass.
Insane. When he was telling Trent about his mom, I was like, bad
Shut up.
idea.
Shut up.
But
And it's like,
I feel like I made a point about this in the first scene, as well as like Trent is so purposefully wearing him down, like making him do all this beacon stuff until he gets to this point where his defenses are down.
I literally have my first dot point was because one of the first things Essek says in that scene is Dunamancy is quite taxing, and I'm like, spell slots. Which I don't know why. I was just like, ooh, he's out of spell slots.
Yeah, shit.
he can't cast that shit anymore unless he does it ritual, and there might not be a
Yeah.
ritual. But then my last 2 dot points are Trent is so fucking manipulative, and then waited till he was exhausted to manipulate him. Waited till he was like completely spent and like struggling to keep going, then poured him a cup of tea and went, "So why are you doing this?" And like dragged all
Evil.
of his motivation out of him so he could manipulate him with it. And it's like, oh, you fucking evil. But Trent, like, as for someone who did not get past the 4th season of Game of Thrones, I'm going to be referring to Game of Thrones probably a lot, but it's like Joffrey. It's like it's one of those villains that you
Oh.
love to hate, that you
Oh yeah.
love to hate, and that
A
is the
well-written villain.
hallmark. Yeah, hallmark of a well-written, good, like well-rounded and three-dimensional villain. It's just I love that I hate him so fucking much. You know?
It's delicious.
Yeah, and
That,
yeah,
actually
just
when
evil
sorry,
Uncle
you
Iroh, fuck ass bitch.
yeah. I was gonna say my probably like top three words when just referring to this show in general is delicious, juicy, and I don't know. There was definitely a third one, but like you'll just see me throw those
Sexy.
words around all the time. Delicious, juicy,
Yeah,
good
it's
stuff.
that's. Oh. Let's move on before I start talking about how much he sucks again. The next,
Circus.
yeah, the next scene is a circus investigation. There's a lot that happens here,
Yeah.
and it's very cute. And it's something that I actually only picked up on my second watch. I didn't pick up on it during our reaction recording. Was how how insecure Jester already is about the traveler not showing up for her.
Yeah.
How she's like, and she's also not directly asking for reassurance. She's trying to find reassurance through her reassurance of other people, which I think is really interesting. Like it is, I think, well aligned with her character. Like she knows how to comfort other people, but perhaps not herself as much.
Yeah.
And it also, I think, is kind of interesting because you get a glimpse into maybe her lack of experience with personal relationships. Like she's mostly spent her time with her mother and blood,
Lewd.
yeah, in the chateau. So she probably isn't used to having personal friendships that she can call on to be like, hey, I really need reassurance because this fucking guy, I keep asking for him and he's not showing up.
Yeah. And for a
Like,
long time, the Traveler was probably like her only friend, right?
yeah, oh, for ages. So it's like she's probably feeling a little oh God, I just kind of connected the dots on how abandoned Jester must be feeling because not only is the traveler not showing up for her, she just had to leave the chateau. Like,
Yep. Where she's. Ugh.
and that's like, ooh, it's gonna make Molly so much more brutal.
It's. It's
Oh
gonna be
God.
bad. I'm not.
Oh no.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm also really looking forward to it because it's such a pivotal moment
So
for the show and the party, and
Molly
it's
knew
just.
things. Molly knew things. That's later on though. That's like after. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also like the she was trying so hard to compliment her and like find something to like cheer her up. And then also
Yeah.
immediately pivoting into trying to fucking recruit her is so
funny.
because she's doing that the whole campaign to
Yeah.
everybody.
It's gonna be fun when we get to TravelerCon.
I just remembered something that happens in the campaign that I'm very excited about.
Should we save Hey, Captain Toaster.
We'll save that. No spoilers.
We'll save that. Well, yeah.
I also said I hope they address more of Not's alcoholism, to be honest. That's actually something I was talking to someone about it in the Beacon server, about how it seems like they might actually address Not's alcoholism a little bit more directly. Like she's experiencing a lot of withdrawal symptoms when she can't get any, which makes me wonder, like I'm hopeful that this is a much later game thing that will happen, but I'm hopeful they're going to address it after her major plot point in late campaign. I'm not going to say more than that.
Yeah.
In case.
Just in case, yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see if they kind of address that a little bit because, like, theoretically, you could argue away those withdrawal symptoms with what happens to her as being like, it's not in her metabolism anymore because it's a different.
Well, I,
But I also
I
think it's
think
like
she
a
kept
mental
drinking,
thing.
right?
She turned into more of a wine mum, but it died down a lot. It was
Yeah.
like very, very reduced. I'm like, I'm kind of more interested in you addressing the fact that she would still have physical withdrawal symptoms after that. Like she
Yeah.
would struggle. And I think
Yeah.
it would be interesting to see them address that and actually sort of like show the Nine trying to support her getting a little bit more
That would
sober.
be
I
good.
think
Because
that'd
I
be
do feel
interesting.
like in the campaign, it's often kind of played off as a joke, which is fair enough. Like they're just
It's a
playing a
D&D
game.
game. Yeah,
It's silly, it's fun, but I
it
do
wasn't
like how they
supposed to be
are.
addressing those angles, but I think it
Yeah,
seems like they are trying to with the show.
yeah, and I do like that they've already sort of like planted the seeds that like, oh, this is serious. Like she has that line where Jester goes, "Oh, why do you like it?" My microphone. um,
You gotta get a new cable, bruh.
rah. Um, hello. Hold on. Technical difficulties.
That's all right.
It's still going.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear? Okay.
Hmm.
So what I was saying, anyway, we can cut all that out. It's so distracting.
You gotta get a new cable, bro.
I don't know if it's the cable or something else. Okay, it stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I was saying is yeah, they're taking it a lot more seriously in the show, I think. And we got that line from Jester where she's like, "Oh, why do you like it so much?" And then Not goes, "It's not like, it's like it's a need." And there's that beautiful shot. And they play with reflections a lot with Not so far in the show, where she's looking at a reflection in the bottle and at cinema.
It's really
Beautiful
good.
moment. Yeah.
I yeah, there's so much that happens. I think like a little moments in this scene that I think are just really cute. Like one of the things that I really particularly liked about the way they've adjusted Molly is him picking the swords up from Gustav. I
Oh
think that's
yeah.
a really enriching story point for him. Like it just makes his character a lot more interesting and a lot more like it shows you how sentimental Molly is. I think he's not like we don't see as much of that in the campaign. We don't see his sentimental side, and I am enjoying that like that softer emotional side to him in the show. It's a
Yeah.
lot more compelling for him as a character, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely is. He feels like not that he didn't have depth in the campaign. I think it's just because we didn't get as much time with him. But like he feels like he has a lot more depth to him, and he's a bit more well
Yeah,
rounded.
and I also
Which again, I feel like they're doing it on purpose as well.
yeah,
Because they're
oh,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, we know we're not gonna have very long with this guy, so let's make everyone fall in love with him.
Well, I think honestly, I wonder if that's part of the reason why they've drawn seemingly the first two seasons out in the way that they have, because I imagine they probably could have tried to do it in a way that ends season one with his
Just
spoilers.
campaign spoilers. Molly
big
doesn't
campaign
survive.
spoilers. Molly does not. Well, sort of. You'll see. Anyway,
The Molly we know does
not survive. Yeah. So the like I could have seen them. I could easily see them having been able to craft the season in a way that ends with his death. But I think they probably thought it's just not going to be as compelling for him to die after a single season. And I also think they will get a lot more time to develop him into a much more three-dimensional character if they do it through two seasons, because like Taliesin did have like 26 weeks theoretically ish. I think it would have been 26 like weeks straight,
give or take,
because they weren't taking breaks at that point, but half a year basically to try and move this character forward. But a lot of that is like not just moving it's like actually just figuring the character out for the first time, because they weren't like if you are someone who's watched campaign 2 of Critical Role, you see how much those characters change, not just in like the first 10 episodes, but like the first 70, because they takes them a while. Like the first 10 to 15, they're really like finding their footing. Like Sam starts the campaign with a horrific British accent that goes away pretty quickly.
That's right. I'm pretty
Like,
sure it's like one episode, and then
yeah,
Talison's Irish accent as well, kind of like, I don't
comes
know
and
what happened with
goes.
that. Yeah,
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 it's a whole thing. But like, we didn't get to see any of like Taliesin really fully figuring him out in the campaign, and so I think it's really fun to be seeing. Like, I feel like probably what we are seeing is what we would have seen in the campaign had
I
we
think
had
so.
enough time for him to grow out of the brutish, not brutish, like headbutting with Bo, like assholey behavior,
Yeah,
into a more softer version of himself. Like, I feel like we're getting to see more of who Molly was supposed to be in the campaign that we just didn't get the chance to see.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Another
a couple
difference,
notes. Yeah.
another major difference in this scene, sorry, just before I forget, is the difference between campaign 2 and the show. Ford being a lot more secretive about his powers.
Mm.
I don't know if you
There's
picked up on that.
mystery there. Yeah.
Because in the campaign, he's very open about, like, I have no idea how to use them. I don't know where they came from. I'm trying to figure it out. So that's why I'm going to this school, which makes sense for a D&D campaign. You kind of tell,
Yeah.
you have to sort of be clear about where you're heading so that the party can be like, we're going to get together. But I find that interesting that he's being a lot more secretive about it in the show. I wonder if
Yeah.
it's going to be a long time before he, like, not just he figures out about Ukatoa, but the party finds out about Ukatoa.
Yeah. Because when does that fall in the campaign? Like the whole Ukutoa
Pre-Jorhas,
stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Pre-Jorhas. I think it's like the 30s and 40s, like around
Yeah.
episode for the 40s, I think it starts, that whole
Mhm.
pirate arc. But
Oh, yeah.
it's fairly
infamous.
brief. I feel like it's probably
Mm.
going to be fairly brief in the show too, because so much of it is just sailing to a certain
Yeah.
area.
I've seen a lot of people talk about how they're going to adapt that. Because,
Well,
yeah, they're sailing for a long time. So
they're
we'll
just
see.
gonna cut, I think. Like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
like a montage or a cut, because you think about how much walking they have to do in the early campaign. We're not gonna see tons of it. We're gonna see, like in this
Little
episode, we're gonna
snippets.
see the moment of like, we've been walking for hours. Can we just set up camp? We're gonna see a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, which makes sense. You don't want to see them just walking the whole time. But yeah, I had a
What was your
note
notes?
on that scene in particular with oh my god, brain fart. Caleb and Ford, and he's asking him about the academy, and then I don't know if you picked up on this, but there's another moment later as well where like Bo is watching them, and I
Mm.
don't know if she can hear what they're saying, but I kind of wonder if they're sort of starting to plant the seed of like Bo being a little bit suspicious of Caleb, because there's a scene later where she's also like looking at the bandages on his arm. I don't know if you picked up on that. So I thought
No,
that
I don't think
was
I did. That's cool.
interesting.
Subtle.
It's very, very brief, and I only noticed it
Mm.
because I was going through and grabbing screenshots, and just thought that was interesting, especially with how the episode ends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's it. I also, this is a bit later on, but I did like the scene of Bo talking to Caleb while they set up the pyre. I think is interesting because it comes across to me as Bo very intentionally trying to become familiar with Caleb because she's trying to find out more about him. I think she's suspicious of
Mhm.
him being connected to
Oh yeah.
Volstrucker, and I also think it's just kind of cute to be to show them trying to connect, and especially because it's also displaying another change that I really like in this show in a big way is that they are very clearly showing off more of Bo's bookishness,
Yes,
because
nerdy Bo.
she has always been smart. She was always very intelligent. She's also just a hothead and sometimes a
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but that doesn't mean she's also not intelligent, and I
Yeah.
do like that she's very, like, not forward. Like, the show's very forward with her bookishness and her intelligence. Like, she does that dope monk shit, flies herself up onto that rafter and goes, a catalytic enzyme, or whatever she fucking said, catalytic enzyme. And I'm like, how fuck you know that? How you fucking, you fly,
Nerd. That's
you parkour fly up that structure, and then
for
you're like,
no reason, by the way. She does not need to be flipping like that. but it looks
But she
cool.
does.
So
But she does.
yeah,
Because it looks
yeah,
cool. What if
it
Yasha's
does look cool.
watching?
True, you never you never know. She could be watching them this whole time.
Yeah, and I think it's like Bo, the sort of the almost like not the flip. I don't think she was like secretive about it in the campaign, but Bo being very very open about her background. She's like, I'm a Cobalt Soul monk. Blah 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 blah. Sort of explain. Actually, no. She explains like a second of it, but then Caleb takes over, right?
Yeah, which
Because
also interesting because it's like he just looks like some hobo wizard right now, and he has all this knowledge of
yeah.
the soul.
The way he says it though, my dot note is Caleb info dumping lol.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it does seem to me like a reference to the Keen Mind feat. Because he's like very very intelligent. Like the Keen Mind feat is he knows the time of day at all times of day feat, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's
I was
funny
like,
you
that's
mention
cool.
the info dumping as well, because I had a point earlier that was like autistic Caleb ? Because there's that moment of him and Ford says something Nicodranus, like just as a play on words, and Caleb goes, why would I say Nicodranus? I'm like, oh buddy.
Yeah. Or like I said it in I think Beacon server with you the other day, but I was I also had the note of Bo being like, Bo feels a bit like ADHD representation because she's very very smart, but she's also like incredibly impulsive and like a little stupid sometimes.
Yeah.
Great.
And oh my god, the most important note from this episode, Chucklefuck mention.
Chucklefuck mention!
Which is crazy.
I can't believe
because we'd been dubbing them that.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a
for
clip
ages.
Of me. I have a video clip of me on the 19th of November, a week before episode 4 aired, calling them Chucklefucks. And then the fact that Chucklefucks was in episode 4 is so... I don't know. I feel
it was such... You have to get that clip of us reacting to it, because it was glorious.
This is the key to everything.
And it's about to be stolen out from under you by a bunch of Chucklefucks. By like the biggest group of Chucklefucks you've ever seen in your life. Chucklefucks?
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out.
Not that you Chucklefucks know.
Are you wrong?
Chucklefucks!
Did she just say Chucklefucks?
Deadly assassins? Can you kill people with your pinky? I heard
That's actually so funny.
The Cobalt Soul
oh my god.
Predicted it on accidental.
And I guess, yeah, I had one more note on this scene before we move on. Is the like Molly and his like blood hunter.
I have a note about that too.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
it
feels like the way they animated it makes it kind of come across like almost like a sleeper agent being woken up.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives me the vibe that like, you know, perhaps we're going to see that his abilities aren't fully under his control. Because like Molly isn't the blood hunter. The other guy is.
The other guys.
So I'm like curious to see how that plays out.
Well, in episode 3, where he first has that kind of blood, like, what do they call it? My god. The Sailor Moon girl moment or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he's like...
Transformation.
I think that is not him. That's not Molly. He gets fully taken over. Because when he comes out of it, he's like, he's confused. He's like, what?
You think he gets kind of like possessed?
I think he's been fully possessed. This scene, I don't think it was as intense because I think he has memory of it afterwards.
There's he says something about that at the rift later.
The rift,
which we can.
We got to get to the rift.
We are 45 minutes in, and we're about like maybe 2/3 of the way through. We're doing well, I think.
We are doing well, and
we're
it's
more on track
structured
than last
this time
week.
as well. It's not like bouncing around.
Yeah, we're going through the thing. The next scene is the experiment scene. So I feel like this is where we talk about the Essek thing because this is where I took my note. My first note is just Trent is fucking insane.
Crazy, evil, but evil.
And then
man.
also Essek looked scared and traumatized, and that kind of reinforces my interpretation of the earlier scene of Essek hasn't been directly involved in a person's death like that before. Even if he has indirectly been the cause of some deaths with the beacon stuff.
You don't have to see it, right?
You don't have to see it. It's completely disconnected from you personally. Being in the room and not just in the room, but involved in the experiment that killed him, I think is a big player in his like reaction in these scenes. But at the same time, I do think that it's kind of out of character for Essek to not have realized how much of a mistake teaching Trent how to open the beacon is.
Yeah.
I think Essek would have been smart enough to realize that if he teaches Trent how to open the beacon, then he has absolutely no use to Trent anymore. I feel like Essek would have been smart enough to know that.
I think so as well. I also feel like what makes him compelling to me is, I don't know if he's like, it's also then kind of like too early for him to sort of be flipping. Like, I feel like why he's, yeah, I don't know if rush is the right word, but like, I feel like his arc with the Nine, like later in the campaign, is more compelling because he spent all this time doing all this like
Evil
really
stuff.
bad stuff, and like his development happens because of the Nine, right? Like that's where they show him he can be a good person.
His change is directly kind of caused by the Nine. It does kind of take that aspect away a little bit by giving him his mother as a motivator to understand the beacon.
Yeah, but I then did have a thought. It's like, we're only at the halfway point of this season. I still think, like, my theory is maybe something happens to his mother, because now Trent knows about his mum, and we haven't got to the scene yet, but, like, Virat knows about his mum as well. So I feel like something might happen to his mum, and that's going to be, like, he's going to go, like, full, evil. Fuck you, Dynasty. You did this, blah, 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 blah. But that's just speculation. But
I could see that, but I'm kind of curious as to how that's going to adjust his dynamic with the Nine, because it will in a major way, I think. Like, his dynamic with the Nine is very, in the campaign, is very reliant on the fact that they are kind of softening him up a lot. Like, they are, like, opening him up to new perspectives and friendships and stuff like that. So it's, I wonder, I don't really have fear that it's going to take away, like, you know, the take away from that so much. I'm just curious to see if it will. Like, I'm open to it changing. To be blunt, never got really that attached to Essek as a character in the campaign because his fans pissed me off so much. God, they're annoying. Like, I just... They would, for like... I fell off campaign 3 around episode 100, and at that point in time, they were still fucking talking about him.
Really?
Episode 100 of campaign 3. Episode 100 of campaign 3. People were like, Essek cameo? Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah.
It was funny for like a week.
Yeah, and all the like long Essek stuff. I still have long Essek muted on.
Don't no one get mad at us. We're not saying anything. Like, we're talking about the extreme case weirdos here who are just being so fucking annoying. Like, you can like Essek. Just can you not force it on everybody else?
Yeah, but on that note, and this is also why I'm kind of a little not wary. Like, however they decide to change Essek's arc for the show, like, I'm sure it will still be really awesome. But I do worry it's just going to play into the like woobification of Essek, where
I'm
people will kind of ignore like all his dark, because that's what makes him interesting, right? Is he has this big darkness in him, and then so I sort of think about that a bit. But again, we're only at the halfway point, so we could see it really take a turn, but I don't know. We'll see. I do think his mum is toast.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last point I'm making.
Absolutely. It's crazy. But I'm going to talk about his mum in the scene later with where he's at home, where he speaks to Virat. We are 50 minutes in. We probably should move on.
We're doing great.
We are. I mean, I think with our current pace, we might land around 90 minutes, which is better.
Which is good. And again, I feel like it's more like there's a structure to it. Like, we're going through scene by scene, whereas before we actually didn't talk about the actual episodes that much.
No, we just got way excited.
Yeah,
but
that's
anyway,
fine. Anyways,
next scene is like the walking camping scene. Like, it's what I literally just kind of referred to not long ago, which was the We've been walking for hours. Like the implication that they've been traveling for a while, I think is great because they do
Yeah.
anybody in a party in an early campaign, you do a lot of walking.
Oh yeah. Making my way.
I really, really particularly liked the bro foreshadowing in this scene. A softer touch would go a long way, and I'm pretty sure a softer touch is something Travis legit said in the campaign.
Yeah.
Like it's great. I'm really enjoying that. And
I love
also,
that
I
dynamic.
really thoroughly enjoyed just Ford saying the quiet part out loud, which was, "We are amateurs. We are amateurs. We just got here."
Like, we don't know what we're doing. We barely know each other as well. Like, I think that's a great moment. Again, where I feel like this show really is about, like, the
We are level
underdogs.
1.
And these chuckle fucks just, like, they don't know what they're doing. And
They do, but
they're
they
not
don't, which I
doing the
really
best
love.
job, really. But,
Yeah.
you know. And I also, again, I liked, similar to what you had, the, like, for being like, you don't have to do all this like lone wolf stuff, because that is a big part of Bo's arc in the campaign as well, is like her realizing it's like you don't have to be a lone wolf, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
Like, you can
She's so
have other
harsh on
people in
herself.
your life.
My next note
Yeah.
was her like saying to herself that Xenoth was right and that she fucked up her mission.
Oh, Bubby.
I just wrote, "Bo, no, you've barely started, baby girl.
You got a long way to go, honey.
You've been here for 5 minutes. It's
Yeah.
okay. You pick yourself up.
She was
Try again."
born 4 minutes ago, pretty much.
Yeah, and then my next note is, again, something I already touched on, is Captain Coward, which I just, again, Not and Ford are going to be so funny.
Ugh. Ugh. Juicy.
It's going to be so
delicious.
good. Like, Ford is going to start. I really, really hope that there is at least a period of time in the series where Ford is like, "Oh, not, haha," and that's like,
Like, that's real beef, buddy.
this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then I really didn't write much for this scene. The next one is Bo breaking a stick for a quarterstaff is hot.
Yeah, absolutely. My fucking microphone.
It's alright. I can hear it a tiny bit, but it's not too bad.
Okay, well, look, technical difficulties, guys. We just decided to do this like 2 weeks ago, so be gentle with us. We're doing our best.
Got to get you an XLR. You could probably order one on Amazon pretty easily.
Yeah, I should do that.
Anyway.
Maybe I'll do that later.
Did you have any thoughts about the walking scene? Just before the fight?
I had a few notes. So something I noticed is like the blocking of the characters in the shots, like the way they're positioned. Like, there's this wide shot, or kind of like zoomed out shot of them, and you've got kind of like Ford and Jester sort of not standing right next to each other, near each other, and then you've got Nut and Caleb, and then you have Bo's just like way off to the side, facing away from them, and then Molly's kind of like almost in the middle, sort of like looking at them. And I'll give you the screenshot.
I can see it. I've got it open.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of, I think, a really good subtle way to communicate that the party's not cohesive yet. They're not a team, really. They are a group thrown together by circumstance for the most part right now. But we see that sort of start to shift at the end of the episode when Molly, has his moment, which is another moment I really liked from him.
Oh yeah. And not even just like the party itself, but like kind of almost like each character's kind of role in the party, also how they're feeling right now in the party. Like, I think Bo being off to the side facing away again is sort of like, yep, she's still trying to lone wolf it or whatever. And then Molly because Molly is kind of what brings them together, really, and is sort of motivating them to, at least in the show, to give it a go, right?
I think he does in the campaign too. You think about it. You think about the way the party comes together. It's Molly and Yasha showing up at the tavern to invite them to the circus. Circus?
Circus, bro.
Circus. Okay.
Yeah.
Invite them to the circus. So it does, in a way, just feel like Molly kind of brings them together in both, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's just slightly adjusted, which I think is great, to be honest. Like,
it's good, yeah.
It's very nice. And I sort of enjoy the fact that Molly is almost coming across a bit more like the leader right now.
I think he is. Like, he's almost like, I like to say that Jess is the heart of the party, because she's just so good and sees the good in everyone. But then almost Molly kind of is as well in this regard, because
I think Molly's the glue.
bringing them together, right?
Yeah, if
So-
Jess is the heart, I think Molly's the glue, kind of holding
Yeah.
all the limbs together in a way. Like
Yeah.
the
The sinew? I don't know.
I don't know, the tendons, whatever.
Yup.
But yeah, it was a good little short scene. But I think let's move on to the cave scene, the fight scene, because that's
Yeah,
going to take a lot
yeah.
longer.
Yes, yeah.
Um, thoroughly enjoyed Ford immediately wanting to tap out because it was creepy, very campaign
Very
referencey,
Travis.
very Travis. And the Toya shadow, like Toya standing in the shadow, was giving Coraline to me.
That was creepy. That's something they're doing really well in this show is like everything looks creepy.
The hag's going to be
Icky.
crazy.
Yucky.
Every time they like show you something icky yucky, you just think about something further down the campaign. It's going to
Later.
be even
Uh-huh.
ickier and even yuckier.
I think about like the laughing hand as well with all those mouths. Ew.
The corrupt version of Oban.
Oh, that's gonna be nasty.
Oh, it's gonna
Oh,
be
dear.
gross. And I'm gonna love it, but it's gonna be gross.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and talking
and
about like the design of stuff in this scene specifically, hamster, unicorn, spirit guardians.
they're so good. They're
Incredible.
It's so good. I love how they kind of visualize everyone's magic.
Yeah,
in the
it's
show
like different
as
for
well.
everybody.
And that's something they've talked about
Lord's
being quite a big
eyes.
difference from Vox Machina as well. Is like it was a bit more sort of like, oh yeah, people are just doing magic, but they've really sort of like taken it up a next level for this show.
Even the difference.
Oof.
We haven't seen enough yet to really see, I think, a difference between the classes of magic, but it does seem like they're going to be doing differences specifically between the classes of magic because Dunamancy is very, very particular to Dunamancy. Like it doesn't look like Caleb's magic. It doesn't look like Trent's other magic. It's very gravity focused and very like everything like shakes, you know? I think it's cool. I do
very,
like
very
that.
cool. Yeah.
I also I was gonna look it up and I forgot to, but the cave fight, the whole scene actually really reminded me a lot of the very first D&D Beyond song animation.
It's
you know, the-
D&D.
You got the
Damn,
perfect
damn.
warlock.
I actually
weapons and
watched that yesterday.
supplies. It reminds me of that a little bit. I know they're fighting the gnolls in that animation, but the vibe of the cave kind of feels a bit
The
familiar.
cave is a fun vibe, and I feel like it means as well they can just focus on the characters and what the characters are doing, not worry so much about the background, which I think works really well.
And then what I was saying before, like the aesthetics of the magic as well. Ford's eyes,
or creepy.
but it's so cool. And he's like, his face kind of changes a little bit as well. It's like very subtle, but like
does.
his jaw gets like a lot like sharper and stuff. It's like
Oh yeah,
it's
he's
weird.
got that creepy grin. Like he doesn't grin like that, and even his hair is like all like crazy. That was really fun.
I just know there are so many people swooning over that shot.
Honestly, fair enough.
Makes sense.
Can't blame him.
I also the moving group shot just as they really start to fight, like how it like sort of it's like a dolly shot moving through them, and like the other characters sort of on the side passing like this, and then it zooms in on Molly with his swords. I'm like, that is a fucking incredible shot. That is a
delicious.
Great
Yeah,
shot.
what I liked about this scene in a general sense is like at the start of the fight, they're all sort of like trying to do their own thing, right? And it's not
And
going well.
failing. Mhm.
And they're failing. And then there's that moment when they all realize, at least because like Not and Jess just sort of go off
Yeah.
and do
I
their
don't
own
even
thing for
think
a
it's an
bit.
all realized thing. What I kind of read from it was like they all sort of individually start to realize that
Yeah.
not even everybody else needs help. One other person needs help. And so they'll go, oh, okay, I think like Bo helps get the vial back to Caleb, right? So it's like
pretty much all of them trying to give Caleb an opening to
which protect the
go at
squishy
the-
wizard so that he can do a
Yes.
lot of damage. Makes
which is
sense.
a great moment.
But it's like I like the individual moments of each person realizing what they need to do, because they're like they try to go at it, it's not working, they all kind of stop, take a second and go, oh, okay, I need to move, I need to be elsewhere, I need to be playing a different
Yeah.
role in this combat. And that is the hallmark of teamwork. It's not just like being fluid, it's knowing what part you have to play.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoy that. And I mean,
It-
on that topic, the cleric The cleric is healing.
Doing cleric stuff?
She's doing cleric shit. The cleric? What do you
Amazing.
mean, the cleric? Sorry, I'm quoting Laura Bailey from, I think, like episode 4, where I think one of the other
Girl
players
did not
went-
want to be the cleric.
Well, she was, Jester was originally, like, her original inception was as a
warlock,
warlock,
right?
and then Ford stole it from her. But I reckon there could have been 2 warlocks, but then there would have been no clerics, and I think that would have been disastrous
Yeah.
for the Mighty Nein. But yeah, I just was like, find it so funny because of that moment in the campaign. What? I'm the cleric. The cleric. I'd never done this shit before, but in the show,
Oh my god.
she
There's-
races out and immediately starts helping.
Good.
But
I
ultimately,
I
what
have
I
to
think's really
say,
sad is that
yeah,
it
I have
doesn't
to
work.
say, before we get into that, there's this really funny interview they released recently where there's the main cast, they're split in half and they're asking each other questions and they get a point
seen
for
it.
each question they
Yeah,
answer right.
seen
And the
clips.
one where they ask like Laura's group, oh, how many times did Jester cast Cure Wounds? And they're like, oh, like 8 or 12. And the answer's like 80 or something. And I just had to like laugh
80?
at that.
80.
Yeah, or
That's
something-
less than the number of campaign episodes there were. She cast Cure Wounds less than once per episode as the cleric.
They had more, weren't they? Didn't they get up
They
to
did have a
episode, like
second-
140?
They 141, but they did get a second cleric
Oh, right. I see what you
at a
mean.
certain point. So there is a factor to it. But I think that is so. I think it's so funny that a cleric character casts cure wounds less than once per episode on average.
Yeah.
That's
But I just
hysterical.
had to laugh at their expectations were so low. What do you mean 12 times in the whole campaign? Like,
To be fair,
seriously?
Cure Wounds is one of those ones where like the cleric has to get. I mean, for Jester it's fine because she's pretty tanky, but the cleric would have to get really up in battle to cast it because it's touch based. I feel like
True.
a lot of clerics end up falling back on Healing Word because it's distant.
but still, 12?
12 is low.
That's so low.
But yeah,
Anyways,
but
I just wanted
ultimately,
to side tangent to that.
yeah,
'cause
no, it's all good. Ultimately, I was like, it's so sad that it doesn't work because she probably again just feels really abandoned by the Traveler, which sucks.
Yeah.
But I also think it's kind of a cool nod to the fact that she would not have the Revivify spell yet, and Toya was
Yeah.
functionally dead at that
Yeah.
point. So like, she wouldn't have her powers would not have been strong enough for her to bring her back yet. And I think we're going to get a scene later in the campaign where she is able to revivify someone,
Yeah.
and she's gonna start coming into her skill a lot more, which I think will be great.
It's gonna be great. Again, we'll have to go through our reaction, but I was trying so hard not to cry in all of the Not and Toya scenes. And there's a line earlier on where she's trying to convince them, we have to go, we have to save the girl, like she could still be alive, and they're saying, oh, she's probably not still alive. And there's this great moment between her and Caleb where she looks at him, she goes, what's magic for if not stuff like this? And I just thought that was such a great
It
moment
speaks to
between
the
the two of
heart.
them as well.
Yeah, well, it speaks to the heart of not just Not's character, but what eventually the heart of the Mighty Nein becomes, which is, I think, also sort of hinted at a little bit later with what Molly says over the fire. But like, it really does, I think, kind of speak to the heart of the Mighty Nein, which is like, what are these powers for if we're not going to fucking help people?
Yeah.
What is the point of them
exactly.
if we don't help
What's
people
the
and
point?
maybe have a little fun along the way? I think that's great.
Yeah.
And I also, on the topic of Nut, before I forget, with the way they've really it's not a huge vibe shift from early campaign. What I think it is just she's more open about it, right? She's more
Yeah.
emotionally open about how she's feeling. She's still being secretive about why she's feeling that way, but she's a lot more emotionally open, and you can very clearly see that there is something going on with her and kids. She's got a soft spot for kids. You wonder why. We'll find out. But it does make me think they're
Eventually.
gonna cut the whole Manticore thing out, because it's just it would be out of character
just
for
be
her at that
weird.
point. Yeah. And
Would
I
be
think
weird.
it's honestly for the best. It makes sense. It creates a more cohesive character for the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because like I don't want to say that Not was like doing things that were out of character, because I don't think that's, you think about what she's a chaotic little drunk goblin. Sometimes she's going to make stupid impulsive decisions, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But like, it is also like, the original canon is a D&D campaign where these people are making probably like a little bit purposefully chaotic choices because it's good for the show and for the narrative. So I think is much better to dial back on those sorts of things in the show because it makes a more well-rounded character overall.
Yeah, it just would feel weird. Like, obviously, for fans of the campaign, it'd be like, oh yeah, that's a crazy moment from the campaign. But it's very clear they're making this show work for both audiences. Like, they want people who don't know anything about the campaign to love and enjoy the show.
Yeah, and
So
honestly,
it's like, that's a big factor as well.
if I can, I think they're doing an incredible fucking job.
Amazing. I've watched like a whole bunch of reactions of people watching the show who don't know anything about the campaign, and they're just like, they are loving it. They're so absorbed into the characters and the world, and they've done a really good job.
Yeah, it's
Good
been
on them.
fantastic so far. Even the small criticism I have of Essex so far, I'm still very much
It's
like
so minor.
so minor, and it's also like we don't know how much else has changed yet, so there could be very well a good reason, or we may later come to understand why. I just think right now where we're at with only 4 of the episodes of the whole series, 4 episodes of season 1 versus 141 episodes of the campaign, that's just like where my mind jumps now. But I'm so open to them adjusting his later stuff to make that work as well. So it's like, we're going to see.
I'm sure. And like, that's the thing, right? We don't know what they have planned. So I'm sure a lot of the stuff that maybe is a bit of a question mark right now in terms of like writing will probably make sense later when we get more.
And I kind of scrolled down, so I'm already looking at my post-fight notes. Oh, actually, one I forgot about, that very short blip in the middle with Oelia at the jail.
Oh,
I find it absolutely crazy that she just walks into a jail and kills people who are like functionally state employees in this universe for information.
Crazy.
It's like a CIA agent walking into like a fucking literally a prison and shooting 2 guards because they need to know information about prisoners that were in that jail.
Wild.
Why?
Truly
Crazy.
wild.
And did you need to do it with bugs? Ew.
Well, yeah, the bug thing is kind of fun though. Like,
It is,
again,
but,
kind
like,
of showing
fun animation, but like,
bug.
ew.
Ewy.
Icky.
She's a really interesting character, actually. And
I really want to know more about her because, like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
Where'd you
I
come
thought
from,
she was
bitch?
new for the show, but apparently she appeared very briefly in the campaign at some point, like much later on, and like not in a big role, but like
Interesting.
she's mentioned or something. So I was like, well, okay. I
Yeah,
thought she
it
was
is
new.
interesting we're seeing a ton of her and not almost none of Astrid.
I know, and Edwulf as well. Well, he didn't have as much of a role anyway, but
In campaign, yeah, but I feel like
yeah.
it feels like one of them would have been. I mean, I guess it kind of it probably increases the stakes on Caleb a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
Because not only are they ex-teammates,
They're ex.
they're ex something else too. They're ex something else too.
We'll talk about that probably
Spoiler alert!
in this episode. So
It's not really a spoiler. You don't see it in the campaign, but like it is a spoiler. Sort of.
it is a spoiler that they have a close.
The next is the post-fight, which starts with the rift. And
No, it starts with Bode arms deep in that freaking.
Oh, finding the pearl. That's right.
Gross. And then Ford standing behind her, like doing this. So funny.
But yeah, my first note is about the rift because like the main part of it is like Molly talking about how he has a memory of this rift, but it's weird because it doesn't feel like his. I'm like, ooh.
Very good foreshadowing. And
It is also,
the rift.
I think it is also a little bit different from the campaign because from memory, Molly didn't remember any of his life as Lucian. It was like almost completely blank. I don't think he had any inclination as to what it was, and he in the campaign at the very least he was very clearly running from it. He was not trying to remember. He was like, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I'm moving on.
Fair enough.
That was very much his character, so I feel like he never had a moment of like, I do recognize this but I don't know why. So I feel like that's kind of curious, and it kind of lends, I think, a little bit to this idea that like when his Blood Hunter stuff kind of comes in, that it's not him in control. And it does kind of feel like, Lucian kind of awakes in him a little bit. And it kind of makes me wonder, I can't remember, did Lucian in late campaign, guys, the fattest spoilers. Did Lucian in late campaign ever indicate that he remembered the body's time as Molly? Like, could he see what was like? Did he remember?
I can't remember. All I remember is that when another big spoiler warning, when he becomes Kingsley, he has vague memories. Like, he vaguely recognizes Yasha, or like has feelings about
Well, he recognizes them all
people.
because he
Yeah.
names them. He's like, I can't
Sort
remember.
of, yeah.
He has words that refer to them
Yeah.
that are definitely related to their character
Related,
in a
yeah.
way that makes it clear he knows enough about them.
Yeah.
He's like,
So
he's familiar enough that he can pull those words
Yeah.
out.
So
But
that
I'm sort
makes
of
me
curious.
think maybe it's similar for Lucian.
Yeah. Because I think it'll
Surely.
be really interesting if we got to him in late series for him to be like, when I was like not in control and I was just like walking around inside of this mech suit that somebody else was controlling, I could see and hear everything, and I could like, I think that'd be so creepy if they did. I think it does kind of lean into the Nonagon Somnovum kind of stuff a little bit, which is kind of curious. I wonder if they'll go there, because I think that would be cool.
That would be cool. And my other note on the Rift was like, is this how they might kind of like tie in Yasha and like the Oban arc later? Because and I went on a deep dive because I was like, I feel like my memory of this is correct, but other people I spoke to seemed like it was not correct, but it was. So in the campaign, Oban was I don't think it was him specifically doing it all the time, but he was working with people to open up rifts around
And one of them was
the
on
place to like
the Cerberus
do
assembly.
yeah,
right?
and I'm pretty sure there was a connection with the Chained Oblivion to the doing shit like making the Devil Toad hungrier, and I think there was a connection to the Knolls as well. Like they had some role.
I was saying,
that.
in I think the Beacon server, I was saying, as part of a conversation we were having about this sort of stuff, was like, I could very easily see them adjusting Oban in a way that keeps like basically all of it intact, because ultimately Oban is being puppeted by the Chained Oblivion. Like Oban doesn't know that he's serving the Chained Oblivion. He thinks he's serving the Angel in Irons and in trying to release the Angel of Irons. And I think it would be very easy to just change who the puppet master is. So it's just somebody else manipulating him into needing the beacon for some reason and needing to open these rifts. I think that's kind of curious. I could also see them just working like, not like sort of almost going in the opposite direction and just working the Chained Oblivion more into the story as more of an important factor, not like the most, but it could be connected to the Somnovum a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of like that because I think, and this is something I'm kind of noticing in general with conversations about sort of like, well, where could this go? Is I feel like not every plot point has to be like intricately connected as well. It could be, like there's a vague connection there, but like they still have the Chained Oblivion in some regard. Rather than like everything has to be serving this one plot line.
There's got to be shopping episodes and beach episodes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so we figured out it was Vents, right?
Yeah, so I found a YouTube video.
Vents or Vess?
Where he was some guy with the Cerberus assembly.
It's not Vess.
No, some guy called Vents. Which, you know what? I have his Wikipedia page open. So, under the direction of Oban, Vents was, using the Abyssal Anchor to do stuff.
He's not in here, so that's interesting.
Interesting.
The only, for the Cerberus Assembly, the figures of interest are Trent, Ludinus, Baroness Jenna Iresor, Dolan Tversky, which we do, I don't know if we meet him in the campaign, but we do hear of him. Athesius Uladan, Vestarogna, Zivan Margolin, and Ormid Haas, who's the headmaster. Or one of the headmasters. So interestingly, here's the thing. On the Cerberus Assembly, Trent, chaotic evil, Ludinus, lawful evil, Dolan is chaotic neutral. Ulladan is neutral good, Vesterognar neutral evil, and both headmasters are lawful neutral. Kind of
Interesting.
interesting because it makes me wonder if they're both lawful. The headmasters are both lawful neutral, and you've also got a neutral good person on the Cerberus Assembly too. Kind of makes me wonder whether they all know about the Volstrucker. I don't think they all
Ooh.
do, because it's like it. If they do, they don't know the full scope of what the Volstrucker are doing
Yeah.
because they're being little evil
Interesting.
freaks.
They're just doing stuff, doing weird stuff.
But anyway, in
But
this scene, back
yeah.
on track. We are 1 hour.
Back on
15.
track. Sorry, we got so sidetracked. But yeah, I feel like that because right now we don't really know what's happening with Yasha. Again, we've still only
I think we've got to get a
one
glimpse
scene
of
with
her. I think we've got to get a glimpse of her this week. Otherwise, they'll leave it hanging too long. I think.
Yeah, especially for new fans, right? Who
Mhm.
don't like her name's not even been said in the show either. So
No.
a
And I
lot of
think-
new fans are like, "Who is this lady?"
If they continue not to show her, people are gonna stop caring about it. They need to like drip it in so people are like, "Who is that? Who is it? Tell
Yeah.
us."
I think episode 5 makes sense because that's also like the halfway point
Pretty
of
much,
the
yeah.
season. So
I really enjoyed in this scene, like especially over the fire, there was a couple of moments I liked. Jester having her first like real like realization that it's not all fun and games out here, that it actually does kind of suck a lot of the
Yeah.
time, or at least part of the time. And I think that's a very important plot point for her. Like, she's not going to lose the naivety. She kind of doesn't lose it completely throughout the campaign. She still has some of it towards the end, a little bit, but I think it's like a very integral part of her growth, sort of realizing that the world is the world.
Old scary.
Yeah, and I
the-
also
you know, well,
really loved, but like we sort of mentioned it briefly earlier, sort of coming again to like the heart of the party a little bit, which in the campaign, this sentence essentially does kind of become a little bit of their motto, and they're like something they cling on to as they keep moving forward, which is Molly's first mention of, I always say, leave a place better than you find it.
yeah.
And I really, really like that because it feels like a very important part of the Mighty Nein, you know? It's
Absolutely.
they definitely cling on to it post Molly's death a lot. And I
Yeah.
think it's very integral for almost some of the strangest characters you'd think. Like, it's Bo. I think that honestly clings onto that a lot more than anybody else.
Well, I'm pretty sure in the campaign he said it to Bo specifically.
Yeah.
Like they were having a conversation. So I like that they've kind of. I hope we do get more moments of those two as well because they have such an interesting like relationship. But I like that they sort of are using it as like, yeah, like the motto of the group. And that whole speech was just
Great.
It was good.
Oh,
It was
the end
beautiful.
of it. I have a note for it actually. I really liked the end of it because it really, it's like sort of encapsulates what I was saying before, that softer moment for him where he is, you know, he is sort of he's very vulnerable. Like he's very, very vulnerable in that moment because he's like he's doing his card tricks, which are just impressive. But he's like, you know, Gustav used to call these cards carny bullshit, but like, you know, maybe not. Like, and you can clearly see, like, it reads to me at least, like he's really trying to find hope in what feels like fate. Like, I think he feels like this group is a little bit fated to be together because of how well the fight ended up going in the end. And I think he's like, you can sort of see him trying to grapple with like I want to believe that it's hope, but then he still kind of sits back at the end and goes, but maybe it's just carny bullshit. And I really liked that because it is also, again, not just him, it doesn't even come across as him like being dismissive of himself. It's more so like he's still admitting that he could be wrong. He's like, or maybe it's carny bullshit. He's admitting that he still doesn't know for sure. And that's still very vulnerable. And I love that moment of like maybe this is what we're supposed to do. Or maybe it's carny bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know if any of us are ever going to know.
Yeah, I love that the card he pulled was like the home card as well.
Found
It's
family.
just like, oh boy.
So good.
And one of my other favorite quotes from that scene, where he's sort of talking about how, leave a place better than you found it. We tried to do that today. Maybe it we didn't really succeed in that, but like our hearts are in the same place. Like we're just a group of people who are
Try
coming
again.
together. And then just this line, they use this in the trailer as well, where he says, you know, we have a shared purpose, we have a shared pain, but like most of all, we have a shared strength together, like through this pain and this trauma, which is I think a big part of the Mighty
Yeah.
Nein as well, is that shared pain.
Yeah.
But that is what makes them strong, kind of thing.
Yeah, this is a bit of a tangent, but something I noticed in that What's Next preview, because I was looking through it the other day for a screenshot of something, but I also noticed that they definitely did edit some later season Bo dialogue over the top of the jail scene, because it's in the jail scene where they're going, maybe we could help stop the war, but we know that they don't actually talk about that in that jail scene. So it's
Yeah.
definitely brought in from end of season. So I get the feeling that like I'm hopeful it's still not going to be a direct like decision for them to get involved in the war. I kind of hope they're going to like play around with it and then end up tripping into it eventually anyway. That's kind of my hope. But yeah, I noticed that they did a little bit of tricky editing in that trailer, which is standard for those sorts of things.
Yeah. A good trailer
Great
as
trailer.
well. That trailer was really good.
We're so close to the end. We're doing well, but we are
We're doing
122.
well. We're doing well.
Next is Essek.
I had one more quick
Oh,
note
yeah.
on that. So it's that scene where Caleb and Bo are talking, and she's talking about like giving him a tour of the library. That's the scene where she sort of like clocks the bandages, and
Yeah.
it's on the mirror board, where she's very specifically looking at them.
Yeah.
And then there's that scene in episode 3 where that guy makes her unwrap her arm to prove she's not a Volstrucker. So it's like she's
you
connecting
know it's
the
on her
dots.
mind. You know that she's
thinking about
aware of it. I do like
Yeah.
that. I think it's kind
Clever.
of it's cool because it just makes the Empire Twins dynamic really interesting, and like I really enjoy like what I said earlier, like Bo's bookishness and Bo's nerdiness coming through a lot more, and I'll make a more overall point about that when we're done going through the episode because I've got notes on that. But yeah, great.
Moving along.
Essek at Home. This is the one where I was like, I found it really interesting that Virat finds out about Dieta having Typhros, but is completely automatically willing to keep that secret for Essek, and not just because Essek is his friend, but because he understands wanting more time with someone. And in a society where theoretically time is kind of endless, you are theoretically immortal. You know, we know not really, but theoretically immortal. There is like a very clear like difference, I think. Well, we're seeing a clear difference between what the Bright Queen thinks of Typhros and what the population thinks of Typhros. And like it kind of like what I pick up from it a little bit, which might be getting a little too deep into it, but it does kind of come across to me like the Bright Queen is so focused on trying to solve Typhros as a problem because she wants to live forever. She's like terrified of it taking over her because we know it is starting to. That like she is so scared of it like coming for her that's why she's not seeing Typhros clearly as like for what it is and why she's so ruthless about it.
Yeah.
I think that's really curious, and it also it's interesting to me that even like seemingly the most loyal to the Bright Queen take issue with how she's dealing with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You're kind of seeing those cracks in, I guess, almost like this faith as well, right?
Yeah, but it's also like I think even just kind of a cool image because he later also like Virat in that same sort of interaction says like even after all my lifetimes time still feels precious, which is like it's an interesting like it's a great message, right? It's like time's always precious no matter how much of it you live because it's always going to keep moving. And I think it does kind of come across as a bit of a the end will always come. Like you can't fully escape death. That's not how life works. And so remaining in that mindset of time is precious means that you aren't going to waste however much time you have, kind of thing. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I also
It's a good scene, and then also Virat talking about how he's come to say goodbye because he's
He's going to war.
deploying out to the war
Sad.
without a beacon as well. So it's like if they die
Well,
in the war, like that's it, right?
there might be a beacon. They don't know.
Oh, we don't know yet.
Maybe like, can you imagine? Can you imagine if like in the campaign, say that because is Virat in the campaign?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it's like. I don't think he's. If he is, it's not enough for us to have remembered him. So,
Yeah.
but like,
Critical
how funny
Virat.
would it be if like Virat was in a battle above ground, right, as the Mighty Nein were passing underground beneath him, and he ends up
Ooh.
in the beacon anyway.
Ooh,
That'd be funny.
That'd be fun. The Critical Role wiki says he was created
For the show?
specifically for the show.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I also my other two notes were about Essek here. My first one is Essek hiding the beacon from the Queen and from the dynasty is only serving to make you look incompetent. You look like you are failing by hiding it still. Like you got to get better at that. And also, this is the part where I kind of came back a little bit on the changes to Essek. I still think it's out of character for him not to have realized how much of I can understand him spilling his guts about his mum because he was exhausted and you know, whatever. But the part of it that I really particularly take issue with is his decision to teach Trent how to open the beacon, because
Bad.
I wouldn't expect Essek to know how evil Trent is yet. Like, I genuinely wouldn't expect him to think about that aspect. I only would expect Essek to be smart enough to know that his use to Trent is his mastery of the beacon, his ability to at least in some way use the beacon. The second that you lose that use to Trent, you're done. You're gone.
He don't need you anymore.
I forgot to mention it in the first scene, but like one of the dot points I had in that scene was the fact the second that Essek shows any resistance to them, literally like seconds later, Ed Wolf calls him a slur. And you're like,
I
just
had
shows
no
the
words.
evil.
I was
Evil.
like,
as soon as he was like,
okay,
hey, I can't let you do this, Ed was like, you fucking crick. It's like, dude,
bad.
Whoa.
It's
it's very
getting
good.
Juicy.
Very good display of
juicy.
like these people. Well, Ed Wolf and Astrid kind of fucking brainwashed, to be blunt.
Yeah.
Tortured, frankly.
That, and you know what? I feel like we might get a window into that next episode, actually.
Oh yeah, because we had Caleb's that gives you a little tiny window.
Which, great editing.
But yeah, sorry. Back to what I was saying.
Back to-
I came back a little bit on Essek here because it does, I think, in the scheme of things, make sense for him to be naive in a lot of ways. He's not consecuted, so this is his first life. He is 70-ish, I think, which is young for a drow.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anywhere near the kind of life experience that a lot of the people around him do. He's got like the
He's a baby.
the bookish intelligence to understand, like, you know, the beacon and stuff like that, and like enough to be an atheist, I guess, about the beacon. But like it just makes like sense to me for him to be a little bit naive. But again, I don't know if he's that naive to be teaching Trent how to do that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I think for me, it will depend where the rest of his arc goes. Will change how I feel about those scenes. So we'll see.
Next is them walking back to town, which is, I really enjoyed Molly specifically trying to cheer Jester up about the Traveller with her cards. And I think it also is kind of a cute little sort of like hint towards Jester having a very true belief in Molly and his cards later on.
Yeah.
I mentioned that exact moment before, the Molly knew things.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I think that's kind of a cute, maybe somewhat of a little cute nod to that moment. Like Jester sort of being like, oh, he can do cool things with the cards. He knows.
Yeah. Also, I think it's another good display of like Molly kind of being the glue. Like he's trying to cheer Jester up and
Trying to keep them together.
Keep them together, because I feel like he knows that, you know, they're they can do great stuff together if they sort of put their mind to it. So I think I feel like he's going to be one of the characters that really fights for them to stay as a group to try and like do some good. Because
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be some tension, especially with how this episode ends.
Mm.
There's going to be tension next episode.
Oh,
so.
big time. I also loved Bo apologizing for being abrasive and then immediately calling Ford a fuckboy. So good. And again, I'll make a point
I love
about that
her.
later. I keep talking about the point I'm going to make
Love her.
later. We're almost there, I swear. And we are
Yeah, well,
1:30 in.
We're,
The only
we're
other
kinda...
note I had for this was the second title card comes up in this moment when they actually get their name for the first time.
It's so good.
So it goes Central 7 to the Mighty Nein. I do enjoy that.
That was, and how they got their name was fun. It was just an accident. Like Caleb's just going 9, and they're like, okay, you're the 9. And then Jess is like, we're not just the 9, we're the Mighty Nein.
I think Jess is the one who comes up with the Mighty Nein part in the campaign too, if I'm remembering correctly.
Amazing.
But I also read a note saying, I wonder if they'll do that thing with the title card anytime they're like using a different name, whether on accident or on purpose. Like, I think I don't know if there's, I can't think of any specific instances, but I think it'd be a funny, like, running joke. There's a Yasha on screen.
I found Yasha.
Hey, we found Yasha.
Her, guys. We found Yasha.
Here she is.
Please don't show your asshole. She's gonna show her asshole. You want to come on my lap? Oh my god. Come on.
It's alright.
Come.
People on
No,
TikTok
she's
love
just-
that shit.
Oh yeah, she's sitting on my iPad. I guess that's fine.
Sure.
I'll
And
let you
then-
because you're unwell.
Oh,
No,
like
she's coming
basically
back.
the only note I have for the part of them walking through town is fucking Owelia, dude. Who fucking hurt you? Trent.
Yeah.
Trent. It was Trent.
I'm very curious about her, actually.
Yeah.
I also love that moment where both Caleb and Bo are like, oh, she found me. And they're like, huh? Hang
Yeah,
on.
That is funny.
And then, because
they're
I
going to
think
start to
Owelia was
realize
just-
their motives are a lot more interwoven than they think they are.
Oh, yeah. Because I think Owelia was only there for Bo. I don't think she knew.
Yeah, because she
Caleb- until she
indicates she's
finds
like,
the-
I found a lot more than I thought I would, kind of line.
Juicy.
Yeah. Anyway, I only have my overall notes now, and one of them is going to
Yeah.
take a second. But do you have any
Good.
overall
Let's
thoughts?
dive into it. My overall thoughts is I'd want more. Where's the next episode?
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare I will watch something and get to the end of an episode and go, where's the rest of it? I need
Give me more.
more. But
Yeah,
I
big
love the
time.
weekly releases because then we can do stuff like this, right?
Binge model doesn't work, and I just think we would have got to the end of it, and then we would have to wait probably a year or more for the next season. This is better.
Just not fun. Yeah.
Draws it out.
But
a little.
yeah, my overall thoughts is that was I really liked that episode. It was really fun.
Yeah.
There was some like tear jerking. Ooh, jerking's not the right word.
Tear
Jerker moments. And just seeing these dynamics kind of build it's just so fun, and we get some little kind of hints as to like what like stuff that could happen like seasons later, right? Like with the riffs and
It's great.
that kind of stuff. So it's just there. You can tell they're thinking ahead. They're not just thinking about season 1 and season 2. They're thinking, what are we going to be doing in like
whole arc.
season 5?
Yeah, and that's why it's a good, like, how many times have I said to you that the best TV shows come from people who go into a TV show knowing the ending? If you go into a show knowing the ending, you are going to make such a better story for it because everything is so much more cohesive and connected. But when you what I have just kind of started referring to as a supernatural, where you go past what your original endpoint was and you just start making shit up, you eventually get 15 years in and it's so off the rails that you make the one angel left in the series gay and then send him to super hell. Like,
Just we've lost the plot truly
just
at
like
that point.
you should have ended it at season 5, really. At that point, like, you should have just called it quits when you originally planned to call it quits.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
I don't think my only other overall thought was like still the like where is Yasha?
Yasha.
What's going on with Yasha? And I don't want to be annoying because she's my favorite character, but like where is she?
I think we will
where
get
sh-
at least a glimpse of what she's doing next episode because
Yeah.
otherwise they've left otherwise I think they're leaving the thread down for too long. They can't drop the
Yeah.
thread for that long without people, especially brand new audiences, losing interest in it,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
because right now we've just got that one scene, and the scene is there's so many questions
Yeah.
about that scene.
So it's like that sort of scene is great for keeping campaign fans hooked because we know she's coming eventually and we really want to see her. But for new audiences, they've probably already forgotten about her, unfortunately.
They probably have, yeah.
Which is like, that's why they kind of have to, I think they kind of have to give a little bit of a hint in the next episode, but we'll see.
We have to see it. Like, again, I'm not asking for like whole episode of Yasha, although that would be nice.
Yasha
Just
side
give
episode.
us something to keep tying us through, right?
Mm.
But yeah, I feel like we could do a whole episode talking about like where is she and like what are they planning with her, because it could go so many different ways. But I won't get into it right now because I will waffle on for like another half an hour, which I won't put you through.
I want to try get us in. I want to try to get done before 2 hours. We got 24 minutes. So
that's longer than I thought.
Yeah, but hopefully less than that because I have to edit it.
True.
The main thing I want to say now, and this is probably what I got the most notes for the whole thing. It is so fucking refreshing to get what is actually properly 100% a fully adult-oriented animated series. I know that others do exist, but it feels like it's so rare to get a properly adult-oriented animated series like this because of mostly Hollywood execs needing to be able to sell a show to the widest possible audience. So almost feel like the vast majority of animated series, even if they were incepted as an adult-oriented show, like because of Hollywood and because of corporate boards, wanting to make as much profit as physically possible, they often will like sanitize a lot of it. There's often like they'll take out a lot of the swearing. They won't try to address, hard issues in like direct ways. They'll only do it indirectly because they want to be able to sell it to like teenagers too, maybe. And that really like grinds my gears after a certain point because you just cannot fulfill your potential as an adult-oriented show if you don't write it for adults, which includes these themes.
100%.
And in 4 of these episodes, like so far, we've gotten constant swearing, so many middle fingers, like not just sexually suggestive, but like sexually explicit like moments, dildos, dicks, even like pretty open displays of kink, which is like huge for TV. Like I feel like,
and
we don't get and it's not negative kink either. It's positive kink with the Ruby because she's like, oh, let me just check my paddles or whatever the fuck it was. Like,
yeah, but that was going to be my note as well. It's like it's not, well, I mean, the dicks and stuff, sort of a little bit jokey, but like that stuff like that, it's like it's just like it's a part of the world. It's part of what
it's there.
It's not a bad thing.
Like characters calling racism out head on. We've gotten corrupt, politically powerful people literally conducting human experiments, and we're also seeing them start to address other really hard to talk about issues in a lot of ways. Like Kayla, one character having very severe PTSD, one character being an alcoholic. Like we are seeing them actually address these issues that are relevant to adults in an animated series and not censoring it or sanitizing it in a way that makes them more money because they can sell it to teenagers now. I really love that. That is like,
it's so refreshing.
One of my favorite parts about the whole thing is that it's actually adult oriented and they're sticking to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're not shying away from the gore and the violence of the world as well. And like you touched on, like the racism, and then, that scene, our introduction to Molly is him and like his 2 partners at that point in time. And it's just like, it's just nice. It's just nice to see that kind of stuff being front and center. And not shying it away, like no censoring. It's just nice.
You paused for long enough after the word see. You were like, it's really nice to see. I really did almost say tits.
That's sort of like in a non-ironic way. It's like nudity is just, it's there. It's not a joke. Well, aside from the dick drawings, but that's a whole different.
Like, it's so refreshing to just actually have adult themes in this show. Because it feels like I will go, if any animated series you go into, even if you hear that it's adult oriented, it's mainly aimed at adults, it will still be, clean enough that it's only like M, so that they can sell it to older teen audiences at an absolute minimum. At absolute worst case scenario, it's probably PG-13, so they can sell it to everybody. Like, it's annoying. And I've always wanted adult animated series like this, where they swear and they make sex jokes and they flip each other off, and you get all of those dynamics that like a lot of adults have in their everyday relationships, and it makes the show so much more relatable and engaging for older, not even like older, just adults in general. Because like it's so easy to just like not care about an animated series because it's aimed at kids, and you're like, I'm bored.
It is very easy to brush that stuff off, but
like
it's like you want complex themes and complex characters. It's so juicy.
I can only think of like 2 animated series off the top of my head that I've really felt engaged with, like kids animated series that I felt engaged with as an adult, and it's Avatar: The Last Airbender and She-Ra. So
yes, I was just thinking about She-Ra.
She-Ra's good, and creator of She-Ra connected with Critical Role, guested on campaign 1. So did you know that?
It's all connected. I think I remember you telling me about that.
And then very last point I want to make is just what I've touched on a bit. What I think makes the Mighty Nein so... I've said this so many times, what makes the Mighty Nein so compelling. I've distilled it down into a much more like succinct thing to say. What makes the Mighty Nein so compelling to me, what I think makes them so engaging for people, is that they have moments of brilliance and moments of pure dumbassery, but neither of those things take away from the other.
Yes.
Bo is a hot-headed, blunt asshole sometimes, but she's also incredibly intelligent and incredibly clever. And her hot-headed moments where she's being an asshole to someone do not take away from her intelligence. People don't think less of her for it. And that goes for the whole Mighty Nein. And I think that's what I was sort of trying to get at last week with the fatally flawed kind of thing, There is nothing about these characters that takes away from them, I think. Like, no matter how many flaws we see, it's not devaluing their achievements or their skills. I think I really enjoy that because it feels so much more relatable.
Absolutely.
It feels like a thing that it's engaging because it is realistic. These characters, they don't have one singular fatal flaw where that's the only part of their life where they fail, which I feel like a lot of TV characters fall into that kind of pigeonhole of like, this is the one thing I struggle with only purely. Whereas like, not, for example, struggling with alcoholism, struggling with like being an absolute fucking klepto. It's just a giant kleptomaniac. and like, connected to the alcoholism, but still separately, like body image issues and trauma and stuff like that, but again, like you can say that about every single one of them. The fact that Caleb, is clearly struggling does not take away from the fact that he's an incredibly powerful magician at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
When he has the right components.
I feel like in a lot of TV and just media in general recently, like everything has been kind of just like watered down. And so it's just nice to see
the anti-intellectualism of it all.
Yeah, complex characters who are well written. They have goals and motivations that make sense, but they also have things that they're struggling with because that's relatable.
Yep.
But like they're also endearing.
They're grounded,
in their own ways.
Three-dimensional people. Not
they
just
feel
characters,
like real
but
people.
Yeah. And I just think like it comes across so well in the show. Like they've done it, I think it's hard not to catch onto that in the campaign because you're not seeing the visual of the character, you're seeing the player. I think it's hard to not consume the campaign version of Critical Role in some way disconnected from the story because you are both consuming the story and watching a group of friends play with each other. It is a very different kind of storytelling. And I think the show has just done such a good job of like into very succinct, well-rounded characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they've taken all
Oh,
that
yeah.
like mess and crosstalk into a really well-crafted series.
Yeah, they've just done such a wonderful job adapting it as well.
And-
Because it's not, and we've talked about that, it's not an easy thing to adapt. Like, there's so much going on, there's so much
So
content to
much.
consume.
550
And
hours of it.
also, like, I think Tasha, the showrunner, talked about this as well a bit, where, like, most shows she's worked on, it's like, yeah, you get hired to adapt something and you go off and you write it and you bring it back and go, here's what I did. But she was saying with this show, I'm sure they did it for Vox Machina as well, but like Critical Role are in the writer's room. They're like having an active role in the writing and the
Well, it
story.
just makes sense.
And it just, I think that shows as well.
Yeah. And it
which
just
is,
makes
I think
sense.
it's a good thing.
Like, I truly think
Yeah.
a lot of other TV shows, not just animated, any TV show would be far, far, far better if they actually let actors kind of take that kind of role with their characters as well. Like, we see it a
Yeah.
little bit. I still haven't seen the Superman movie, but I know that there is like coverage of the fact that James Gunn and David Corn Sweat, whatever his name is,
Corn Sweat, yeah.
like got close to like really fighting on set because they were disagreeing with like a character motivation. They were like, I don't think he'd say it like this. I think he would say it like this. And James was going, no, it needs to be said like this. And I think like what I remember seeing about it was that David eventually sort of like, it was like a misunderstanding and David sort of eventually realized what he meant. Like, I think it was when he saw the footage of it, he was like, oh, right, okay, got it. I've got the vision.
I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Something like that, if I'm remembering correctly. Could be wrong. Haven't seen the movie, but it's that kind of moment of like when a character cares that deeply about it, when an actor cares that deeply about the character, it shows in their acting and in the movie and in the media. It is so much more compelling than just watching someone like flatly recreate a script. Because you can really tell when that's happening, and it's a lot of modern media because of the anti-intellectualism of it all. It's sad.
Yeah, and like to add to that, I think it was in the same interview Tasha was talking about working with Critical Role in the writers' room and how different that was for her, but how open they were as well with changes. Like, because she, at the end of the day, she is the writer, the showrunner. Like, that's what she does best. So she'd like pitch an idea to them to be like, hey, I think this would actually work better like this for TV or whatever. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Like that works.
then-
So it's like they obviously had this great collaboration going on where they were working together.
And
which
what's
is
also
awesome.
great about that is that it's a conversation. That's what is good about it, is that they are discussing it. They're not just deciding it, you know? That I think is what makes a lot of shows kind of start to fall. Like, I think we're kind of seeing it with Yellow Jackets. As much as like Yellow Jackets is good, we are seeing it with Yellow Jackets a little bit right now. It feels like it's
I don't
falling
even want
apart.
to talk about season 3.
I know, but it feels like it's falling apart a little bit, and it's because like the writers' room is making decisions and not like, it just doesn't feel cohesive. Whereas this, if Tasha's going to them with like, hey, this is what I'm thinking because blah 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 thoughts, and like that gives the opportunity for Critical Role to go, yeah, that works really well. We really like that. Go ahead. Or, oh no, there is a part from like, we need to consider XYZ and we need to try and work that in. So can we maybe like adjust it to do this? And just the fact that they are having that conversation is what makes it better. Because
Absolutely.
there's more than one
and it
idea.
shows, right? The evidence is right there in front of them.
Collaborating. It's good. Anyway,
Yeah.
150.
Yeah. Well, do we want to
Outro? I also need
might
a
as well
pee.
do outro. Like, there's more stuff I could talk about, but I feel like we could save it. We could always do like a second episode if we feel
could
like
do
we have more
middle
to talk about,
episodes.
you know?
Yeah.
See how we go. But yes, let's outro. Thank you to anyone who sat through this whole thing. We appreciate it. And if you have comments, like you want to,
Theories.
if you have your own thoughts, like
any of it.
like
Let us
chat
have
with
it.
us. We want to hear it. If you don't
We-
agree with us, we want to hear it too. Like,
We love a
let's
good
just have
combo.
yeah.
And we are the kind of people who, we don't care if you think something completely different to us. We just don't want to like beef about it. There's no need to fight. There's no need to be like, this is what is correct. We just want to be like, oh, that's cool. Like, you know, theories. I think this might happen. Oh, cool. You know, because I feel like we're having this moment, especially in the Beacon server a lot, where people are like, no, that's incorrect because this. And you're like we're
Like,
just
trying to have a
theorizing.
conversation, man.
We're
Yeah.
theorizing. We're having a silly,
Yeah.
goofy time. You don't need to be that serious about it. But yeah, if you have theories and stuff, or like comments or like thoughts on any of the things we talked about, or like, you know, if there's anything that you picked up on that might contribute to something we've talked about, would love to hear that if I've missed it. Like, because we're watching
Yeah.
these shows like pretty closely and we're watching them multiple times in the week to get ready for
Yeah.
this. So it's fun.
And if you have anything you want us to talk about, well,
If we have any,
put your suggestions
yeah,
in the
if you've got a
comments.
question about things that you would like to hear our thoughts on, open to that too.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's it. That's this episode. So next week's episode will be fun, episode 5, and it's called Little Spark. I'll just leave
Feels a little
that with the audience.
Feels like it's going to be a little Caleb focused.
Yeah, I think so. Which I'm excited for. I feel like it's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks
know
for
if you know
watching
what I mean.
Archivist Sessions episode 2. Come back for Archivist Sessions episode 3. We don't have like a set day this is airing. We'll figure that out eventually.
Work it out.
We're figuring it out.
But yeah,
Catch you next time.
see you later.